Welcome to the course Animal Diversity 1 Biology of Non-Chordates. Myself, Dr. Sneha, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology, St. Joseph's College for Women, Visakhapatnam. So, as a part of this, we're talking about next topic of Unit 1, that is nutrition in Protozoa. The content of this topic includes various modes of nutrition in protozoa, and later we're going to discuss about their process and as well as significance of each mode of nutrition that is exhibited by protozoans. After studying this topic, you can able to identify different modes of nutrition in protozoa, that is like holozoic, saprophytic, parasitic, autotrophic, and mixotrophic as well. You can able to explain the mechanism of food intake and digestion, and as well as even like phagocytosis and what is intracellular digestion, etc. You can able to differentiate nutritional stages among various protozoans with suitable examples. You can able to analyze the role of nutrition in growth, survival, and ecological adaptation of protozoans. Protozoans, though they are single cell animals, but still they're going to exhibit various type of mode of nutritions what are available in nature. So that is like holophytic type, holozoic type of nutrition, pinocytosis, saprophytic mode of nutrition, and few of the protozoans are parasitic mode, and few of the protozoans are going to exhibit coprozoic type of nutrition, and few of them are going to exhibit mixotrophic type of nutrition also. So let's talk about all these various types of nutritions, how they're going to be exhibited by the various type of protozoans. Starting with the first type of nutrition, that is what autotrophic nutrition or holophytic type of nutrition, which is mostly seen in plants actually. So that is what is autotrophic nutrition? Autotrophic nutrition is a mode of nutrition in which organisms produce their own food. They're going to prepare their own food, and they're going to use the simple inorganic substances like carbon dioxide and water, and even they're going to use an energy source like usually sunlight they're going to use. And by using all these sources, and as well as even presence of a very unique type of pigment, that is what chlorophyll, and they're going to convert this light energy into chemical energy. Okay. In protozoans which are exhibiting this autotrophic type of nutrition, we can clearly see here step by step. So let's discuss how this nutrition is going to happen in protozoans. First of all, they're going to have chlorophyll, that is what present in protozoans also, which actually helps in absorbs the sunlight. And the type of raw materials they're required to go through this photosynthesis is CO2 and as well as water, right? And with the help of these resources, they're going to convert this into glucose, and oxygen is also released as a part of this process. Okay. And whatever food is going to be formed as a part of photosynthesis, that is going to be stored also as a form of either starch or it might be paramylum. So that is what most commonly the stored food product what we can able to observe in autotrophic type of protozoans. Okay. And the best example for this autotrophic protozoan is euglena, and it contains chloroplast, and as well as one more example is also noctiluca, which also exhibit or shows this photosynthetic ability. So the same you can clearly see in this slide where the euglena is basically that means absorbing the sunlight because presence of the chloroplast, and with the help of this CO2 and H2O, they're going through this photosynthesis process, and glucose is forming, which is later is going to be stored in their body as a form of either paramylum or starch. The second type of most commonly seen nutrition in protozoans, that is what holozoic type of nutrition. What is this holozoic nutrition is basically see where they're going to ingest the solid food particles and later ingesting that they're going to digest them internally in the presence of some enzymes, and they're going to absorb that nutritions which is basically exhibited in higher order of animal category. Okay. Right. If you're going to see the step-by-step process of this holozoic nutrition, so first the step starts with ingestion, where the food is going to taken into inside the body. So for grabbing and taking this food, various protozoans are going to exhibit different types of mechanisms. For an example, in amoeba, they're going to use pseudopodia for engulfing the food and grabbing the food, and later on they're going to take that food into inside the amoeba's body. For an example, like in paramecium also, they're going to exhibit cilia actually to grab the food. Okay, so that is how they're going to grab the food and they're going to ingest it. That is what the first step. And after once the food particles entered into inside the protozoan body, the food particles actually engulfed by food vacuoles. So inside these protozoans, they have a highly specialized vacuoles are present, which are known as food vacuoles. And what is the purpose of these food vacuoles is they are full of the enzymes are present. So what type of enzymes they contain is digestive enzymes. Okay. So once the food particles are basically enters into inside these food vacuoles with the presence of the various types of digestive enzymes, that is the food particles are going to be break down into much more simpler forms. Okay. And once this food is digested inside the food vacuole, so it is going to be absorbed. All the digested nutrients are going to be absorbed by the body. That is with the cytoplasm only. Okay. And later these absorbed nutrients are going to used for definitely for generation of the energy for their growth and repair. And it was observed in protozoans if the food material, the food nutrients are excess in amount, that is also going to be stored actually as a form of glycogen in case of holozoic nutrition. The last part is the last step is the undigested food materials, what are still left over inside that food vacuole. So they're going to be expelled from their body with the help of that food vacuole only through their body surface. Okay, it depends on protozoan to protozoan. For an example, in amoeba, as that doesn't have a definite shape, so the food is going to be excreted anywhere through its general body surface. But for an example, like in paramecium, as they have a specific anal pore or cytophagy for this excretion process, so through that anal pore, the digestion is going to be happen in paramecium. So here you can clearly see the step by step the same process what we have discussed with the help of an example amoeba how it is going to feed, and the same process you can clearly able to see in this slide also, where you could clearly see the amoeba is basically with the help of pseudopodia it is taking this food particles basically into inside its body, and later on see all these food particles are further taken by this food vacuole actually. Okay now, so where it is containing different types of digestive enzymes, and with the help of these food particles, with the help of these food vacuoles, the food is digested inside, and later on the undigested food material is basically thrown outside with the help of a general body surface. So this is how the holozoic nutrition actually happens inside the protozoans. Okay. So the key features of this type of nutrition is it is a very commonly seen the type of nutrition in protozoans, most the major percentage, and it requires active movement and as well as ingestion, digestion, all these steps are included. Okay, and what type of food basically includes, they're going to grab, as we have talked about, solid food particles, like it might be smaller forms like bacteria, algae, like small larval forms also sometimes that includes as a part of this. Okay, And so now let's see if we till now we have talked about two different types of nutrition, that is what autotrophic and holozoic. So in this slide, it is a comparative chart which is depicting the major comparison between autotrophic type of nutrition and holozoic type of nutrition, as you could clearly see here. So in this autotrophic, the synthesis of the own food happens. On the other hand, holozoic nutrition is basically depending on others for food, basically, right? And here it includes solid type of organic particles. On the other hand, here it is required. These are the raw materials basically is required, the inorganic substances, and with the help of these, it converts that into the chemical energy. Okay, so this is what a comparison chart, what are the requirements are there. For an example, see here in this process, phagocytosis is involved. So that is how the food particles enters into inside the protozoan body. On the other hand, it involves the photosynthesis process. Okay, so this is what the comparison between autotrophic and as well as the holozoic type of nutrition. So after talking about these two, coming to the moving to the third type of nutrition, what is seen in protozoans, that is what pinocytosis. Okay, so actually, what is pinocytosis in protozoans is basically, see, it is a type of nutrition mode where protozoans are going to ingest or intake the liquid type of nutrients, the dissolved type of nutrients. Okay, that is what the basic difference between holozoic, where it is solid food particles, but on the other hand, pinocytosis is the method which is meant for intaking of liquid nutrients, basically. Okay, so because of this reason, this is oftenly called as cell drinking process, right? So this pinocytosis basically happens like how it happens is that means taking that liquid food as a dissolved substance, and later on it enters into inside the body, and it forms small vesicles basically, which are known as pinosomes. Okay, so those pinosomes enters into inside the protozoan body, right? So now here see the step-by-step mechanism how this process actually happens is once that the nutrients, which are liquefied nutrients, are going to get in contact with the cell membrane. So that means that liquid nutrients are going to be that means grabbed by the cell membrane, and the cell membrane is going to fold inwards actually ante into that means towards the inside the cytoplasm. It is inwarding, folding inwarding. So that is what invagination also. Because of this invagination process, a small pocket like structure is formed, right, which actually holds these liquid nutrients, right? And later on, a small vesicle is going to be formed. That is what known as spinosome, which is later off pinched off and enters into inside the protozoan body. Okay, and later this spinosome is going to be internalized and digested, and as well as the nutrients which are present inside that liquid is going to be absorbed by the cytoplasm. Okay, so the same thing you can clearly see in this slide, right? So here the dissolved nutrients, the liquid they are present. See how it is formed, the invagination process, and later it formed that pinosome here, and which is entered into inside that protozoan body, right? And later it is basically internalized inside the protozoan body. Okay, so this is how the pinocytosis actually happens in protozoans. So the key features of this pinocytosis type of nutrition is it helps in intaking of liquid food only. So for grabbing this liquid food, no pseudopodia, no other like locomotory organs is required, and the small vesicle like the thing is going to be formed, which is known as spinosome. It is a continuous process. This is happens in most of the protozoans actually, and for an example like in amoeba and in some parasitic protozoans also, where they're going to absorb the surrounding the food as a form of dissolved form. So that is what pinocytosis. So after that, the next type of nutrition is saprophytic nutrition, where saprophytic or saprozoic type of nutrition, where the food is going to be absorbed by the protozoan as a form of organic nutrients from their surroundings actually. Okay, So this type of nutrition, actually this process involves the protozoans feed on dead and decay type of organic matter, right? So these nutrients are already available to them in a dissolved form actually. So for this, no ingestion of solid particles and digestion is not actually required because it is already broken down type of organic matter. Okay. So for how this saprophytic nutrition happens in step by step. So now if you're going to see, like in nature, the bacteria, that means the bacteria is present basically where they're going to convert this organic matter into easily dissolved nutrients, the simpler type of the materials, the matter actually, okay. So how basically the bacteria, the role is mainly involved as a part of this process, which are known as primary decomposers actually. So they're going to colonize around this dead and organic matter, and they are known for secreting various types of extracellular type of enzymes, right? And with the help of these extracellular enzymes, they're going to digest basically this organic decomposing, that is what dead and decomposing matter, right? And which is going to be converts into what? The simple soluble nutrients, right? And these simple soluble nutrients are going to be absorbed by the protozoans which are living in that particular area. Okay. So they actually involves they might be contains amino acids, sugars and fatty acids directly, which is going to be absorbed with the help of the cell membrane of the protozoan. Okay. So this is how the with the help of bacteria this entire thing happens, right? And once this was happened, then absorption, that is what I'm talking about. With the help of diffusion, that simpler organic matter enters directly into the protozoan body, and later it is going to be utilized by the cytoplasm. The same process you can clearly see as a form of diagrammatic form here, right? So the bacteria which is present here in this area, they are acting on this dead and decay organic matter, and they're converting into what? The dissolved nutrients, okay, which is later absorbed by that particular protozoan. Like here, see, with the help of a simple diffusion process, the simpler the nutrients are entering into inside the protozoan body. And the key features of this saprophytic type of nutrition is no food vacuole is actually required for this, no ingestion, no digestion, as nutrients are directly absorbed, which are already converted with the help of bacteria actually, right? So the best examples for this type of saprophytic type of nutrition is like monocystis, even like chilomonas, polytoma, all these are going to exhibit this type of saprophytic type of nutrition. So after that, next type of nutrition is parasitic type of nutrition, where the protozoans are going to live as a form of parasites on a host body or inside that host body, okay, obviously for the purpose of nutrients, right? So basically, see, basing on the behavior of the protozoans, we have divided them into two different categories actually, okay. The first category is known as food robbers. They are meant for only getting the food only. They are not going to cause any type of disease. There's something like a harmless type of like protozoans. They're only going to depends on other host body for getting the food only. So that is why we're calling them as food robbers, which are a non-pathogenic type of parasites basically, and they only feed on undigested or it might be digested food which is present inside the host body, and they're not going to damage the host tissue, okay. So that is why they are food robbers or non-pathogenic type of parasites, okay. So these food robbers, how they're going to take or collect that food particles from the host body? For that, they're going to exhibit two different processes: holozoic, which actually involves ingestion, digestion, absorption, all these steps, right? On the other hand, saprozoic, where they're going to absorb directly the dissolved nutrients. There is no ingestion and digestion is required as a part of this, as just now in the previous slide, we have talked about saprophytic or saprozoic type of nutrition, right? So where directly the dissolved nutrients are going to be grabbed, right? So for holozoic type of This food robbers examples are like Bacterium. On the other hand, saprozoic parasites. The food robbers basically category is Opalina. So the key features of this non-pathogenic parasites, they live mostly in the gut or the body cavities, and they're completely harmless to the host. They're simply present inside the host body or on the host body for the purpose of the food only. They are not going to cause any type of disease or symptom, right? The second category of the parasitic protozoans are basically known as pathogenic protozoans because they are known for causing the diseases, lots of symptoms and everything, right? So because they're going to feed on the living tissues or the body fluids, because of this only the host is going to exhibit the symptoms of the disease. Okay, so these pathogenic protozoan parasites are how they're going to feed. They're parasitic and as well as pathogenic. So they're going to exhibit saprozoic type of, that means directly absorbing the nutrients from the host, and apart from that they're going to cause lots of symptoms also. Okay, so the best example for this category is trypanosoma, which is known for causing sleeping sickness, plasmodium, which is known for causing malaria, entamoeba histolytica, which is known for causing amoebiasis. The key features of this type of pathogenic protozoan parasites is they show high host dependency, and they live inside the blood, live inside the cell of the host body, and by doing that they're going to cause tissue damage, nutrition depletion, disease symptoms, etc. Moving to the next type of the mode of nutrition, that is what coprozoic type of nutrition, where especially the protozoans are going to feed. Copro means the dung, the fecal matter basically, that is going to be digested and later converted into the simpler food forms, right? And that is going to be absorbed. Okay, so that is what coprozoic type of nutrition, where they're going to feed on fecal matter actually, right, which is present in nature. And again, how they're going to, that means take this fecal matter, right? So again they're going to exhibit two different modes for this, is holozoic type or saprozoic type. Holozoic means what? It involves ingestion, digestion and absorption. On the other hand, saprozoic means what? Actually they're going to directly absorb that dissolved nutrients with the help of the body surface. No requirement of any food vacuole formation, right? And the examples for coprozoic type of nutrition is Bacterium and Nyctothyrus. And the key features for this, they feed on what? The waste materials, the fecal matter, and they're mostly non-pathogenic category, right? But they helps in decomposition of this fecal matter, right? And helps in cycling of the nutrients. Coming to last type of the nutrition mode, that is what mixotrophic type of nutrition, where it is indicating the word mixo, right? That means mixing of two different types of modes. Okay, so mixing of what type of modes? Two different types of modes. That is what autotrophic plus heterotrophic. Okay, now so depending upon the conditions actually, the protozoan for some time it might be autotrophic, for another after some time it might be convert itself into heterotrophic. That means maintaining both type of nutrition. So that is what we are calling it as mixotrophic type of nutrition. Okay, so as you could clearly see, two different modes. Autotrophic mode, if autotrophic mode is going to be switched off, then it is going to on what? Heterotrophic type of mode. Okay, as a whole we are calling this as mixotrophic type of nutrition, right? So which is very well known in the flagellate protozoan, that is what euglena, which is very well the best example for this category. So that is what, see, the both types, autotrophic is also present, heterotrophic is also present. When sunlight is available, it basically, that means, grabs this sunlight with the help of this chloroplast and with the help of photosynthesis process, and it generates the, it basically prepares its own food. On the other hand, when sunlight is not available. Okay, if the conditions are unfavorable, then what actually happens with the help of this flagella, it exhibits, that means it grabs the food and it totally changes. The autotrophic mode is going to be switched off. It changed into holozoic type of nutrition. Okay, now where it is going to grab the food, digest the food, ingest that food, digest that food, and later it will be absorbed. Okay, now so that is what heterotrophic or holozoic. Okay, so that is what, because the same the that means individual or euglena, it is exhibiting both modes. Okay, so that is why we are calling this what actually mixotrophic type of nutrition. So these are the various types of the nutrition modes what are going to be exhibited by various types of protozoans, with examples we have discussed. So as a whole summary, protozoans exhibit diverse type of mode of nutrition, as we have discussed about that, like holozoic, autotrophic, saprophytic, parasitic, coprozoic, mixotrophic, all these, right? Food intake occurs through the process like phagocytosis, or it might be with the help of the simple absorption. And later, digestion is basically happens, which is intracellular. And why? After eating the food, why they're taking the food? Because it supports their growth and helps in reproduction and their survival purpose, right? So these are the various references cited for this topic. Thank you for listening the class.